Hello, troopers, and welcome to the 501st Com Chatter. I'm Chloe, and this is Will.
Hello there.
Hello.
How are we doing, guys?
How are we doing? So we have episode 3 of the Acolyte to break down today. We've got a bit of news. There were some new figures that were released, so we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
We also had a little shopping day this week, so we'll talk a little bit about what we got as well.
Yeah.
What we saw.
We've got a little TikTok shopping haul video, like Star Wars hunting video, shall we call it? Like, see what we could find.
Yeah, so that will be posted at some point soon. So yeah.
Yeah.
Some fun things.
Yes, so another episode breakdown of the Acolyte. This one has been quite controversial.
Yeah.
This has really affected the fan base. So we're obviously, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about the bits that people are not very happy about. But we're not here to berate or destroy the show, because at the end of the day, this wasn't the best episode, but I'm still enjoying Acolyte, and
yeah, I think it's been a great show.
And I don't think that what people are going up in arms about, I don't think it is as bad as what they're thinking or what they're saying. And I think they are jumping on Disney's ruining Star Wars, and I don't believe that completely. So let's just calm down a bit, but we are going to talk about it because the whole fandom is talking about it. So yeah, big controversial point in today's episode.
But we'll get into that a bit later.
Yes. So to start with, should we do personal news?
Yes.
Okay, so we had a little shopping spree Tuesday. Yeah. It was fun. We looked around all these different sort of shops. We went like Lego shop, like H&M, main car. We're looking at all the different Star Wars things we could find. Yeah.
Game.
Oh, there's lots.
So many shops.
So
the nerdy shops.
Yes. But then in the end of the day, we ended up with 2 Star Wars purchases.
Both of them were Funko Pops. Surprise there.
Yes. But to be fair, we think we've done really well with them in terms of like price and deals. Like, we've had a look, and you're not going to get these ones like cheaper, really. So shall I say?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one, what did we got from this sort of like independent nerdy Star Wars shop?
I think it's called like the movie and TV shop or something
like that. It's literally called like that.
Yeah.
So I saw this in there the other day before I was going to work, and it's a Cal Kestis and BD1 Funko. Now I know his lightsaber is a little bit bent, but it's not the end of the world, and I think it looks quite good. And yeah, just quite an interesting Funko himself. He's even got the like scar on his face as well, and this is from Fallen Order. Cal Kestis.
Yeah, so he's got he doesn't have the beard yet.
Yes. He's still quite young.
Yeah. But I think BD1 looks so cute.
Yeah.
As a Funko.
Yeah, he looks really good, and I think it's cool that he's been included in it.
Yeah.
$14.99, I think we paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even the person who sold it was like, I think he's quite a hard one to get hold of. I haven't seen him anywhere else out and about.
I think it's quite an older Funko as well. Like some of the main stores, they usually discontinue them, and then they won't stock them anymore. Yeah. But I didn't even see this in main stores, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure how it is, but obviously Fallen Order did come out a couple of years ago, so.
Yeah. But I think it's a good little collection piece, and nice little new different Jedi to have on our collection, really. Yeah. And I love the Fallen Order and Survivor games themselves anyway, so.
Yeah. We did have a check on Amazon and eBay, and we couldn't get it any cheaper than that.
Than what we paid for it. So, yeah.
People were selling them for quite a lot more, because obviously
20 plus.
when things do get discontinued in shops, if people already have it, then they resell it for more, which is annoying. But yeah, we got a really good deal on that.
Yeah, so happy with that.
Yeah.
And then the other one, which we didn't expect to get, but we are glad that we did, is the Jetpack Mando.
The Mandalorian with Grogu.
Yeah.
Well, I think on the box it says the Mandalorian with the child, because it's a bit of an older one.
It's from like season 1 or 2 or something.
I think it's season 2. Must be. But, I don't know.
He looks really good.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to get a Mando Funko because I haven't actually got one until.
I mean, you've got a Grogu, but with like the little
cup. He's got the cup. And he's like
the little soup. But this one's really cute because it's Mandalorian and he's like holding a little mini Grogu as he's flying with his jetpack.
And I do love as well how the jetpack is the like base of it. So instead of it being the normal sort of Star Wars base that we get with all of them, it's actually the jetpack is the base. And I think, you know, the like thruster cloud and that, and I think it looks really cool. So yeah,
there was that one.
And that was in game £10. Yeah.
So Game have a massive sale on at the minute. So anyone that shops at Game, definitely have a look. If you're into any of the Star Wars Funkos or Lego or Black
they had
Series.
Quite a good collection of the Funkos as well.
Yeah, but they had Black Series figures. There was an Omega, which was only £5, which is crazy for a Black Series figure. But they had so much there, and they had so many Funkos. A lot of them were about £10, which, you know, they retail for 15, so it's really cool to see, you know, certain places have them on offer.
Deal.
So
especially because it's like I said, it's not. I wanted to get a Mando Funko for a while, and £10 is a really good deal for a decent Funko. Where, you know, it is what he is. It's like Mando holding on to Grogu. Like, this is what you would expect him to be doing.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, and the base as well being really unique or cool.
Yeah. And you're thinking about getting the Bo-Katan with the jetpack base as well. So I think both of them will go really well.
Yeah, there's a Bo-Katan sort of with but the jetpack thruster is like a clear, almost grey.
Oh, okay.
So it is actually different because in the third wave of the Mandalorian season, or the first wave of Mandalorian season 3 Funkos, there is an armorer with a jetpack base where she's got like her tools.
Yeah, but the Bo-Katan's got the Darksaber, which you really want.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do want a Bo-Katan to go with Mando, you know, because Mama Bo and Daddy Mando.
Yeah. The Dadalorian.
The Dadalorian, yes. But yeah, so that was like our 2 little haul that we got when we had a little town day.
Yeah.
We finally got Fixer out of his box. Yeah. So you can see him in all his glory, looking very nice.
I do really like the visor on him, how it's on break.
But cool. Definitely, you know, Funko, if you're listening, please can you now release a Scorch and a Sev?
Yes.
Please. Yes. So I can complete my
the
little
Republic
Delta
Commando.
Squad. Like,
yes.
Please. I have 2. I need 2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they're very cool, dude.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably tell that we love the Funkos because they're like most of our purchases are Funko Pops.
Yeah.
But they are very cool. And, you know, when you start a new Star Wars, like when you had Ahsoka coming out, then you have to get the Thrawn and the Night Troopers, and then they brought the Balin as well. So it was like, let's get all. Like,
I mean, I could very easily buy all the Ahsoka Funkos, like Ahsoka, like from it. Hera, Hu Yang would be a really cool one, I reckon. You know, Chopper. Yeah, you know, they'd all be really good, but I was quite lucky that they all around the same time they brought out Thrawn, the Rebels re-release, and I think his pose is better than the
one
Thrawn
from
from Ahsoka because he's got his blaster out and was like he never had that out in.
I think also the Thrawn from Ahsoka is a bit like paler blue, so I think the Rebels Thrawn looks more like Thrawn because the skin tone looks a bit more like him.
And then Balin, I thought was incredible. Ray Stevenson was incredible, and then obviously I love Captain Enoch. I thought he was really cool, so I had to get him, and then I had to get the 2 different Night Troopers. So, But like we mentioned before last episode, there is definitely 2 that we're getting from the Acolyte.
Yes.
Minimum.
And that's Yord and Soul.
But they got to do more. I know it, and I hope they do it. And I'm praying for a Kalnaka. I want a Kalnaka Funko.
Yeah, I love Kalnaka. It's cute.
And especially in like this episode as well, he just seemed quite a cool Wookiee.
Yeah. And Vanessa would be really cool as well.
Yes.
With the light whip.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So I'm excited to see that in a future episode because obviously we'd seen the little clip in the trailer.
Yeah.
So come on, Funko, release some more because we want to see it. So yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's it from our little haul. Got some figures released.
Yeah. And keep an eye out for the video soon as well.
Yes. We'll probably put it on our Instagram as well. So just keep an eye on our socials. But yeah, so like we mentioned, we didn't have a lot of Funko. We didn't have any figures, I don't think, last week to show.
No.
So we did say that on the Friday, it was like the Hasbro Pulse.
Oh yeah, the
reveal
Haslam.
or something.
Yeah.
So we have got a couple of figures to show you, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
So we have the vintage collection retro edition of some of the characters from the Acolyte. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you don't know the difference, the retro collection, it makes the figures look like they're from the original Kenner toys.
Yeah.
So the detailing on the faces and the clothes and the move on the bodies, they're not like as detailed as you would get with like one of our normal sort of ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's just the ones that we've got at the minute. So we've got May, we've got Osha,
Mother
Anasea. Mother Anasea.
You got Jackie, you got Yord and Master Soul in his white attire.
Yeah, so we got here's a better one.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're coming in like the box of them, like the 4.
So you get 6.
So as you can see from these, like they're not as detailed, and they're the retro versions of them. So
you can usually tell by like the little box where like below their belt.
Yeah,
it's like a little box where their legs move.
I mean, if you like the retro versions of them, then this would be a cool one to get. I would, if I was to get any of these, I would probably get the non-retro.
Yeah,
I would prefer
You prefer the more realistic ones?
Yeah, the normal vintage collection ones. And I have seen a picture for Osha as what do you call it?
A normal vintage collection. Yeah.
So they, you're probably going to get these ones as well as normal. But yeah, quite cool.
Cool.
Just something interesting I noticed there. So Osha, instead of just being Osha, it's Osha Anasea, like Mother Anasea.
But May is just May. An Anasea.
That's weird, isn't it? Interesting.
How
weird. Yeah. I think Kenner and Hasbro have been doing a lot more of these like multiple pack figures like this. This has got 6 of the figures in it. So,
but they've been doing some that have like 2 figures, like the Darth Revan and the Key.
Yeah, and the HK-47.
Yeah, that's all.
See, I know my stuff. I know my Revan stuff.
And then we have more of these like Bounty Puck figures as well. So we've got Osha, May, because they're obviously like the two main protagonists of the Acolyte, and then we have an Ezra Bridger, which I thought was interesting.
I'm starting to like wonder how do they get selected as to who gets made a puck figure? But I'm starting to come to the idea that it's all figures that have been wanted at some point. So if you look at like who we've basically had, we've got Osha was wanted by the Jedi.
Yeah.
Believed to kill Master Indara. You got May is also wanted by the Jedi. Ezra was wanted by the Empire, and that you had Ahsoka. She would have been wanted for there was a time where she was on the run, and that.
Yeah.
Han Solo was wanted by Jabba, and that. Darth Maul would have been wanted as
by
well.
The Jedi, yeah.
So
there was a Vader as well.
That one's is a little bit like off.
Yeah.
Isn't it? But I guess also if you look at the prices as well, both May and Osha 80,000 credits. Ezra's 70,000. He's not as desirable. Okay, so we got a Black Series Osha. Again, look at the name, Osha Anasaya. So,
yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But she comes with the little droid,
yes.
And he comes out of his little thing,
little holster, and
yeah. And she got a little bag and her blaster as well.
Yeah, that's the stun blaster that we see her use at the end of episode 2.
She was like pointing at May, and then she was like, "Oh, she," and then poof.
And missed on purpose.
Yeah, but she couldn't get her.
She couldn't stun her because it wasn't kill, but like she couldn't do it. No. But yeah, quite a cool figure. Quite a bit of customization, shall we say?
Yeah.
That's an alright figure. I mean, I'm not going to be getting it myself, but
no,
not bad.
It does look like
if you've got a collection, it looks like. It does look like it. Also looks like May.
Put a little purple cape on her and she's in disguise.
So this is quite cool. So last year, the Hasbro Lab came up with the Ghost
from Rebels.
Yes. So it was a case of what Hasbro Lab is like they come up with a product, like a prototype, and they're like, right, it's going to cost this much money. You guys, if you want it, you have to like basically register interest in it and buy it. And with each amount of purchases, you unlock a tier, which unlocks characters to go with the thing. So this particular cantina, which they've made, looks really, really good, by the way. Comes with like the bartender guy, and I think like one other or two others. But the like third tier, there's like 3 tiers, and it's like once like 11,000 or whatever has been bought, then the first tier is unlocked and such and such.
Yeah.
But it looks very cool, and I love this photo as if like you're walking into the cantina.
Yeah.
It's a good way to show it.
It is cool.
And you can also buy the deluxe version as well, by the way. I couldn't remember what the exact thing is, but I think you get like more cups and more tables and stuff like that.
Different items.
Yeah, there's extra stuff with it. So we have Wuha, the annoying bartender.
We don't serve your kind here.
Hey, they'll have to wait outside. I love the pose on this one. Like,
yeah,
I could actually see him in the film being like, "We don't serve no kind in here."
Yeah.
And you got the IG heads in the background as well.
Yeah,
little cool detail.
And the little like, almost like a smoking bong thing on the side.
So he is obviously he comes with it anyway.
Yeah.
We have the two sisters,
Mm-hmm.
Seni Tonika and Brie
Bria
Tonika.
Tonika.
We see these two like at the bar, like
Mhm.
looking over at Kenobi and all what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We have Greedo.
Yeah. You can't have a cantina scene without Greedo.
She's Nachoso. Nachosa. Very cool.
McClunky.
McClunky. He does look very good, man.
He does for a vintage collection figure, definitely.
Again,
very
I think
detailed.
he's one of the ones that might be a tier collection, like after 4,000 have been ordered or something.
Yeah, must be.
So we got Nabram Leeds. This weird.
He's got a gas mask on.
Yeah, it's weird looking.
I don't like it.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like werewolf.
Artail shoes.
A real? Where'd you get Artail? That's an eye.
Is it an eye? Oh. Arleo shoes.
I love
He
how
comes with a little glass.
I love how like all these characters that were just literally like in the background of the cantina have been given like a name and a character. Like who would have thought that some werewolf looking character in the back of the cantina has ended up
Arleo shoes
and has a mini like a vintage collection thing.
Yeah.
He does look quite cool. Okay. So yeah, that is it for the figures and the news.
The news. Yeah.
So yes. So we are going to move on to today's episode. Episode 3 of the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we get into it, I always ask this before. What did you think of the episode as a whole?
I don't think it was too bad. I wouldn't say it's the best episode of the series. But it gave us a bit of a backstory because the first 2 episodes they keep coming back to this like awful night that happened with Osha and May, and it's like, right, what actually happened? And this episode went back and we see the 2 girls, and at first I was a bit confused of like who's who because they're both wearing exactly the same outfit, and I was like, is that May? Is that Osha? I don't know. But obviously, like when something happens, then it's like, oh, I can tell that's May because she's being a bit more.
I think
mean.
What they did, well, they had to do it anyway, but the 2 girls are not identical. Like,
no.
Even though older versions of the characters are both played by May, are both the same actress, they needed to have like 2 separate people because from early on I was quite able to tell the sort of difference between the 2.
Yeah.
But
I think the fact that when both exactly the same outfit, and they have the same hairstyle and everything, I was a bit confused at first. Yeah. I think certain things about the episode could have been better, but it is what it is, and I don't hate the series at all. I think this was, how they wanted it to go, and it's something different in Star Wars. And yeah,
I think that's a good way to put it as an overall.
I wouldn't say it's the best episode ever, but at the same time, like,
I'll be honest,
I would watch it again. Like I wouldn't say anything really bad about this series, to be honest.
It's fair enough. It's nice to hear a bit of positivity.
Yeah. I didn't mind it. I think some people are being quite harsh and they're like, oh my god, Disney's ruined Star Wars, blah blah blah. But I think, I don't know. People got to give it a chance.
We'll get into
because
it
they're saying that we're gonna see this flashback in like different perspectives. So this episode, I think it was from Osha's perspective.
100%.
But we haven't seen it from the other perspectives. We've not seen it from May's perspective. she think that happened on this night? What about the Jedi? What did they see when they walked into this, like, spoiler alert, there's like a bit of a disaster. What did they think? What is their sort of point of view on it? And what didn't we see? So I think this isn't the only time we're gonna see this massive event that happened. We're gonna see it in a few different perspectives and see what happened to each individual, like, area, which I think will make this episode make a bit more sense, because it's a bit kind of, we don't see very much of what happened that night.
No. The only thing that I do hope, though, is, okay, so we've got 5 more episodes left. I don't want it to become a, say another 2 more episodes just of seeing what happened from May's or from the Jedi's point of view. Like,
no.
I do want to see, and it is important for the story, that we see what actually happened.
Yeah. But it shouldn't be solely focused on this night.
Yeah, no, because I think they've done that now with this episode. Like, we've seen there's May, there's Osha, there's Mother Asaya, there's Mother Cora, there's this little witch of, coven of witches.
Yeah.
They're Force users. They see the Force in a different way. The Jedi come, and they basically, Osha doesn't want to be there. May does. Yeah. Something happens, and all the coven basically ends up dead. And it's meant to allude to May is the one that done it. But it's like, okay, we know that's the story.
Yeah.
I don't need another full episode from May's point of view, or
the
Jedi going, oh, we got to go to this planet to see it.
No, I don't want it to end up like that either. But I think this episode needed to happen for it to, like, tie some knots, because it's like, right, what happened to May? Why did they think that May wasn't alive? The mark on May's head that Indara sees.
Recognized.
Like, what is that mark? How did that come about? Obviously that got explained. And we also get to see, like, May and Osha, their sort of relationship together, like, as siblings, and we get to see the differences between them. Like, right, this one, she's quite mean towards Osha, and then, there's definitely a lot of differences there. In this scene at the beginning, there's like these little butterfly type things. I don't know what they're called in the Star Wars universe, but they look like butterflies. And Osha's there, sort of like, like, looking at them like, oh, they're beautiful, playing with them or whatever. And as soon as May comes along, she's there, like, trying to block it from moving and stuff, and she's just like, let it go, like, what are you doing? But just in that small section there, you're like, okay, that's definitely May, because
a bit more anger and a little bit more,
there's something wrong with her.
But also, to put this in perspective, this is on a planet called Brendok.
Yes.
Which we see, like, come up at the start of the episode, and it also comes up saying 16 years earlier. Okay. So obviously 16 years have passed. So when we see May and all of them at the minute at the end of episode 2, and whatever happens, this event happened 16 years before. So
so
they're still kids.
Aren't they 9?
I think they're 9 or 8. They are, like, no, I think they're 8, because he said, I was like, there's a bit where Sol says something like, I was 4 or something, I was half your age or something.
Okay.
But yeah, so we see them by this tree. This is a Boonta tree. If you remember, one of the poison that was made for what's his name? master to.
I can't remember his name now.
I can't remember his
The
name.
one that was like levitating and
Yeah.
levitating.
I'm gonna have to remember his name. But yeah, so he was poisoned
Was it
by
Master Tauren?
Tauren.
Tauren, that's
Sorry.
it.
Thank you. He was poisoned by a boonta leaf, like in it. So one of the leaves of this like tree mixed in with like stuff killed him.
Also, I don't know if this is just an Easter egg, but the pod race in Phantom Menace was called the Boonta Eve pod race because it was a hut holiday. The Boonta holiday or whatever, and it was Boonta Eve, and they did this pod race. So I don't know if that's just an Easter egg or if the huts have anything to do with this type of tree. I don't know, but
maybe maybe this tree, is a type of tree that's special or grows on Nal Hutta,
maybe.
So,
but also like trees, they seem to be quite prominent in Star Wars, like the tree at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant in the Clone Wars. There's the tree in the Book of Boba Fett where he breaks off the branch for his gaffy stick. Like, there's something to do with trees, and I think it's possibly like something to do with nature and like the Force living with all like living things. I don't know, or something peaceful about a tree. Because when you think like Star Wars is very sort of Japanese samurai kind of influenced, and when you look at like Japanese gardens and stuff, you see bonsai trees and like cherry blossom trees. There's so many trees, so I don't know if it stems from that or whether it's more of like a peace thing. I don't know. But
all trees are obviously seem to be important in different cultures, beliefs and stuff. Tuscans with the gaffy sticks, and the Jedi with the tree and stuff like that. So so we get introduced to May and Osha. Osha seems to be very more at peace, very chilled. Like you mentioned,
very curious.
She has one of those sort of creatures flying around, and she like gently stops it so she can look at it, then like lets it go. And then Osha, May sort of knows where Osha is, and
she's like, whenever I can't find you, I come to this tree, and I know you'll be here.
Yeah. And she then like force holds it, and you can see as well that she looks like she's almost enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's when like
Osha's just like, let it go.
But yeah, so here you can see like the difference. So we got Osha here with got like quite a sort of more like a bigger nose, sort of more rounded face a bit. But yeah, once you watch the episode, you're like you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
So here we can see May sort of using the force forcefully. So then they start heading back where they meet Mother Coral.
Mother Coral.
Yes.
So Mother Coral is a Zabrak, which we've seen in Star Wars. There was Jedi that were Zabraks, and then we've got the Dathomirian Zabraks, which were obviously like Savage Opress and Darth Maul, and all the other ones. We've seen Ventress fight in the Clone Wars and stuff. But it's interesting to see there being like a Zabrak in live action that isn't a Jedi and isn't Darth Maul. So yeah, and I think her markings are a little bit interesting as well. She's got like, I mean, I thought this. I don't know if it.
When she showed me it, I couldn't not see it.
I don't know. I don't know if this is just an Easter egg or if I'm just overthinking things. But Cora, what was her name? Coral. She has a diamond on her head, but this to me looks like the diamond on the chests of the Mandalorians. Like I don't have a picture to show you, but if you look at Mandalorians right now,
especially Jango Fett's like armor.
Yeah,
I think that's where
or Mandos.
Oh yeah, Mando.
Or Bo-Katan's. Like, they all have this sort of diamond with like 2 straight sides on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like that, and I don't know if that's just an Easter egg or if I'm just overthinking things, but to me it looks like that, and I don't know what that
I
means.
think what was quite interesting as well was seeing Zabrak in with hair.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
something I don't think we've ever seen really.
yeah.
Not like a full head of hair like she has, but
yeah. And I heard that apparently the females don't usually have horns, but I don't know if that's just like Dathomirian ones. I don't know.
Oh.
But anyway.
So yeah, so we sort of see May and Osha heading back towards the like camp, and it was sort of revealed that they're not meant to be out. They're not meant to leave, and they do their little I am you, you and me little rhyme that we see from in the flash, or May's vision of like her saying it with her
I'm
sister.
with you, you're with me.
Yes.
It's kind of like a witch spell.
It is a bit, but it's also like a nursery rhyme a bit, and it's like
I don't really know
what is above is the same in the sea, and stuff like that. But we see that, and then obviously here's quite a quite a good photo of them together. This one's May, this one's Osha.
I feel like you can sort of tell the difference between them with Osha. She always looks quite like timid and nervous about everything.
Yeah.
Whereas May's a bit more confident and like, I'm gonna do this.
Especially with like later on with the like ascension.
Yeah.
Like Osha's walking up very like, okay, this isn't what I want, and May's got like a smile on her face, like
Yeah. This is
so,
Mother Anastasia.
Yes. So they come back into this little fortification area, like almost a little town. What looks like it's built into like a dam thing, doesn't it? But
yeah,
it's not.
It almost looks like a little like volcano.
Yes, it's a weird one,
weird.
but and they want, is it some spice cakes or something?
Yeah, which I'm really confused because like clearly they just wanted like a little cake, which little kids, they like sweet things anyway. But the fact they're called a spice cake, and spice is known to be a drug in Star Wars, I'm very confused by this because I'm like, little kids wouldn't be having that, surely. I don't know.
But again, it's a different era, so maybe it's actual spice, because I'm sure they have like proper like chili flakes and stuff. I don't know, but
maybe it's like a Coca-Cola sort of thing where it doesn't actually have any drugs in it. It's just called that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, so they want it. Mother Cora's like, no, you're naughty.
Yeah.
You're not having anything. And then we get introduced to Mother Anastasia.
Yes.
Who is the like mother of the coven, and also one of the mothers of the twins.
Yes.
Which we will go into in a little bit. So basically, she comes over and she gives them like a hug, and it's like, I think they're allowed a treat. Like she's very almost soft on them here, like quite gentle. And then she sort of tells them to go off and get ready for her training. Yes. And then we see sort of Mother Coral take Mother Anastasia to like a side. It's like they were outside. Oh, also meant to say, we do see that like Master Soul has been following them.
Oh yeah.
Because he like.
But no one's noticed yet.
Yes. So he's like peered around a tree as they were walking off with Mother Coral. But yeah, so they come here, and Mother Coral's like, they're outside again. They can be rewarded. It's like, they're not normal children. So yeah, it's like, and you can clearly tell that there's like a bond between Anastasia and Coral. Like, they're a thing. So yeah, you can see that they're just but again, like Mother Anastasia is the like leader of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm. So anything that Coral says, she can disagree with it because she's the one that rules everything.
Yeah. So then we sort of get this really interesting sort of training sequence where the girls are obviously stood behind Anastasia, and she's telling them about basically the Force, but they don't call it the Force. They call it
a
thread. And how like you pull at the thread, and like no one should control it, whatever. So, but then we see this really interesting bit before, like she shows it off, and when she calls it a thread, she pulls it as if like pulling a thread. But then you can actually see this like almost like
transparent kind
thread
of blurry
of the Force.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting.
Between her hands, yeah.
So she's like got it like that, and she's like, look,
Like I didn't notice this when I watched it, but it wasn't until I like watched it back, and you sort of pointed it out to me, and I was like, oh look,
you can actually see.
Like it's sort of it's almost like a line of like blurriness, transparentness.
It's like something's there, but it's not. But you can see it, which I thought was really interesting. And then she goes on about the power of like one, and the power of two, and the power of many.
Yes.
So this one person like uses the Force to defend, and then she does like another push, and she sort of goes back. All while in the background, the two twins are sort of bickering and like pushing and shoving and like.
And she's just.
So then she does it with two people, and she does the same thing again, and uses the thread or the Force, and pushes them back. And then she notices the girls are messing about. She's like, "You need to be ready to attack." She just like pushes them down.
Yeah, like the enemy isn't gonna wait. Yeah, for you to stop bickering.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
But I thought it was funny how they almost fell into the stairs. They're made of solid stone. Like
that'd have smashed your head open. But yeah, no, we can clearly see that these people use the Force. And then when they sort of get up, Mother Anastasia sort of gets the kids to practice. So she like goes to attack them, and May steps in front of like Osha and like blocks it, whereas Mother Coral's like no, like what are you doing? Why are you being disappointing? So then Anastasia's like go to your room, get ready for the like ascension.
Oh yeah, also Mother Coral, she looks at Osha and she's like, I expected more from you. And it's just like,
so she's like, go to your room, sort of get yourself ready for the ascension tonight.
Yeah.
And then we get this sort of scene between Anastasia and Coral, where we learn about the kids, and this is the bit that everyone's like
hating on.
Hell no.
Yeah.
So basically, Mother Coral reveals, she's like, I carried them. And then Anastasia is like, I created them. It's like, now originally everyone's jumping on the thing of, wait, they used the Force to create a kid. Now, yes, technically true. But this doesn't mean it's the same way as Anakin being created by the Force itself.
It doesn't mean that Osha and May are like the new chosen ones,
no, not at all. Now, a quote that I recently, on doing my research for this episode, found out and remembered. There is a line that Palpatine tells Anakin when he's talking about Darth Plagueis the White. Now, we know that Darth Plagueis would be around in this film. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see him or that he is connected to this coven. But basically, from what we can sort of gather, these witches basically harness like dark side of the Force. Coral says to Anastasia, what if the Jedi were to find out how you created them? Now I'm gonna do the quote that why I think everyone needs to calm down. Palpatine tells Anakin that Darth Plagueis the Wise
influence the midichlorians.
Could influence the midichlorians to create life. Does that mean? And now I know a lot of people reckon Plagueis created Anakin through like him trying to create something, and then the Force basically created Anakin as a thing against it. I don't know about that, but it's proof that the midichlorians can be manipulated to create life. Now, from my point of view, what I think's happened, Anastasia has basically learned this trick, this dark side magic, basically. Even Palpatine himself says the pathway to the dark side is can lead to many
abilities, many considered to be unnatural.
There you go. Exactly. And using influencing the midichlorians to create life would be very unnatural.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, Anastasia, with this little witch coven, has basically learned this technique to influence the midichlorians and basically used it in some dark ritual, dark side way to help create the twins.
Yeah. May and
so
Osha.
I don't think this has ruined Star Wars. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon yet at all.
No.
I think it is very explainable, and just calm down. I think we're gonna find out something, how it was done in the series, but
we're only on episode 3, guys. So
do you agree with me though?
Yeah.
With the that whole line about he could use the midichlorians, he could influence the midichlorians.
They keep saying about the power of 2, because when she's showing them this, it's like, right, the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many, and I think it's to show, Osha and May can work better together rather than individually, but also potentially creating them. It was the power of her and Coral, because it's like the power of 2. We created life from having that extra power.
But the rule of 2 is also a major
in the Sith.
The Sith and the dark side of the Force. So it's like
there's always a apprentice and a master.
Yeah, and the 2 twins, as you can sort of tell as the episode goes on, May clearly is more of the darker half. Osha is the more light half. Do you know what I mean? So there is that difference, and it's like light side, dark side. Together they are the balance.
Yeah.
So so we sort of see the I'm just gonna leave on this. So we see that the girls sort of go to their room.
Then they're sort of getting their hair done, aren't they?
Yeah. And Osha is drawing in this little scrapbook.
Yeah, which is shaped like a triangle, which I thought was a bit weird.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those before.
No.
But, May's like, "Oh, what are you drawing? Show me."
And she's like, "No."
No.
She holds it against.
But then May's like, I don't hide any, I tell you everything. Why do you hide stuff from me? And she's like,
Mhm.
because I don't want to be the same person as you, like I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And then, Osha brings out as well, like, do you think it's one of the reasons why, his thing is because we're the only kids here?
Mm-hmm.
And then the two hairstylists from the coven look at each other like, oh, oh dear. And then also we see that like Osha doesn't want to do the ascension, and May really does want to do it.
Yeah.
So then we get to the ascension, and we get introduced to this like scene that we've seen in like the trailers, where like it's now at night time. The two like moons have created like an eclipse.
Yeah. Which is the O in Acolyte.
Yeah.
So there's two separate moons. So obviously, we know the twin suns on Tatooine. It's like the twin moons on this planet. But there's like a red one
and a
blue one. And the blue one sits behind the red one. But we think that this might possibly be like kind of symbolic for like May being sort of the darker red sister, and then the blue one being symbolic for Osha, because it's like blue symbolizes the light and the goodness and all that. So so potentially that like they're two halves of the moon.
Yeah. So we get this ascension begin, and Mother Saya, basically gives a bit of a speech, being like, we were hunted, we were
forced into exile because everyone thought that this was
unnatural, and
we can't be.
They said we were dark, or what we did, stuff. So it's like,
and they can't be seen using like the Force when there's Jedi around, because the Jedi are the people that they're the High Republic. They rule the galaxy basically. So
So basically, I think this little coven of witches is like a dark side cult.
Yeah.
Like a Sith cult, but like they're not going under the name of a Sith cult, but like they still practice Sith
dark magic.
Yeah, dark magic. They definitely practice like stuff like that, I reckon. Yeah. So we see them begin this sort of ascension, and we see that the girls now sort of make their way through.
And you can really see a difference between the two of their like emotions. Like May, she's sort of walking up and she's got a smile on her face. She's very confident. She really knows in her heart she wants to do this. She's like, I'm going to become a witch, And then Osha's sort of there, like a bit timid. She's got a bit of a smile on her face, but then she's sort of looking around like, do I want to do this? I don't think this is for me. But then May wants to do it, and it's almost like she's being like peer pressured into doing something she don't want to do. But yeah, then anyway, we see May. She goes first, and then we see Mother Anasea
sort of harness this power through a chant as well, which is power of one, power of two, power of many.
Yeah.
Yep. And she sort of like channels it, and then she like.
And they're all saying it as well. The power of many, and you can see like bits of smoke everywhere, and them all sort of reaching up, and
it is
their eyes going funny. It's a bit
very culty.
Yeah, it's very weird.
And so she sort of channels this whole like force energy thing into like May.
Yeah.
And then we see so as you can see, like Anasea's like marking here on her forehead. We see that sort of
appear
on her like
head.
Yeah. So when we see Indara like pull the mask off and see the mark, she knows May. Who it is. And we also see Anasea say to May as well, or to the kids.
Yeah.
Do you promise to carry on the work and that, like after my death?
Yeah.
And May straight away is like, yes, I do. Like, and then she gets the mark.
Yeah.
and then she asks the same to Osha, and she's like, I do.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
a very slow, quiet, kind of unsure. Yeah.
Okay. And then we see that two of the other coven sort of come and say the Jedi have sliced the
door.
No, what was it? The
hatch.
They've sliced something.
I can't remember.
I think it's like the platform or something. I think it's the platform.
Because
that would mean they can come up or down. Because this would be like on top of that. Like
yeah.
So we then get the 4 Jedi walk in. So we get Master Indara, Master Soul, my boy Master Kalnaka, and we get Indara's Padawan, Torvin.
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 I don't know.
But yeah, so we see these Jedi come in, and all the witches a little bit, or I'm not going to call them witches, but the group, shall we say,
the cult.
Yeah, the cult is now a little bit on edge, and they hide sort of the girls behind them, like sort of thing, because they don't want the Jedi to find them.
No.
And then there's a bit of a confrontation between Indara and it's very tense, and obviously
it's kind of like, right, we hear that you're hiding. Well, what was it you're teaching children here or something?
Yes.
And you should know that the Jedi always need to
get first say or something.
Yeah, need to test the children for like
I think get first. I think it says something like get first go at testing if they're going to become a Padawan or something. And Anna say or Master Mother Coral. I keep saying Master Mother Coral is like really defensive and like
she's like adamant. No, there's no children here.
And then Soul sees May Osha.
Is it Soul?
Yeah,
because Soul. I think it's Kalnaka that sees the kid first.
Oh.
Because they're
because of his and then Soul looks.
And then Soul looks. Yeah.
But then because they've been making their way forward to see what's going on.
Yeah, and them being children, they're gonna be curious, and obviously Osha as well, being so admirable of the Jedi. She's like, what? There's Jedi? What?
Yeah. And then basically Soul was like, come here. And so then Osha comes out and you can just see the two mothers
great.
So then Soul has a chat with her and shows her his lightsaber.
Which I thought was very unsafe, giving a lightsaber to an 8-year-old. And the whole time I was watching it, I was kind of like, do not press that button.
I mean, I was
do not ignite that saber because...
But I also get it because it's like he's trying to show, he's like, look.
Yeah.
This is a weapon, but it's like, I'm showing you, I'm giving you. And then... Which
is a big thing, like, how we learned in the prequels, how Kenobi always taught Anakin, like, guide this saber with your life because it's very important. And we see in the Clone Wars him giving it to Padme. He's like, this is how much I trust you. I'll give you my lightsaber. So I thought it was quite surprising how Soul did this.
And we also see as well that they want Soul is like, we should we want to test you as a Padawan, as a Jedi. And Osha's like, yeah, I want to basically do it,
Yeah.
And then I think it's Mother Coral is like, the Jedi just want to take the kids or whatever. And Master Soul's like, we don't take the children.
No.
We test them. And then that's when Master Indara is like, with your permission, Mother Anasea, can we test? And she's like, yes. So then she sort of speaks.
So she's like, yeah, you can take Osha, and then they're like, no, we're taking both.
You want to test both of them.
So she's like, fine.
But then, yeah, so they go off to their room, and then sort of the Jedi leave after being told that, like, the girls will be escorted by, like, the scouts to the Jedi camp, like, the next morning, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she has a meeting with Coral and the elder, the like mother.
Yeah.
And she's like, all they have to do is fail the test. So just tell them to like lie, you know.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. So she goes and sees them and tells them that. And Osha's like, I don't want to lie. I don't want to fail.
Yeah. Because May's there like, if you pass the test, you'll never see Mum again. Yeah. And she's like, oh no, I don't want to disappoint my sibling or my mother.
But I also want to.
But she wants to go to be a Jedi.
Yeah. So, very interestingly, we see like Coral take May away because she's like sort of fighting at her, like, and I'm like, no, don't let her do it, like.
Yeah.
And then we see, obviously, her have a really interesting sort of heart-to-heart almost. And was like, look, don't pull at the thread. Or pull at the thread. You know, like, your life isn't controlled by a force or whatever.
No, you choose.
You choose. So it's like, interesting.
Yeah.
Interestingly, why they done that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they go to the... so yeah, here we have that, like, heart-to-heart. Where Asaya's like, look, go.
And she's like, I want to be a Jedi, Mum. And she's like, if that's what your heart tells you to do, then follow your dreams, kind of thing.
Yep. Oh, we also learn as well in this scene here, just quickly, I just remembered, in Master Indara says to Anasaya, who was their father.
Oh,
she says, there wasn't
a father. Yeah. Very similar to Shmi when Qui-Gon.
And that's again where everyone was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They're ruining it. No, calm down. So the girls get escorted to the Jedi's ship.
Yes.
It is, I have it here for you here, is a Poland 717 Jedi transport.
And it's in the iconic
red and white the Republic, you know. And Kelnacker's just here working on a speeder outside. He's just chilling. He looks cool. He's like, so May goes in first.
And then Osha's a little bit like curious of what he's doing.
So she watches Kelnacker like working on the speeder. Like,
maybe Kelnacker is the reason why she became like a mechanic.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so we see that, and then obviously May comes out, and obviously you can tell straight away that like she's lied and failed the test deliberately. So then Osha goes in, and she gets a bit of like blood taken from Torvin, just a little blood test thing. And then we see her in the ship, and I was like, oh my god, this is a throwback. So we see Master Soul holding up one of the screens with like something on it. So we see this in the Phantom Menace, one of the Jedi tests, where Anakin's like Mace Windu's holding up a screen, and he's like, a cup, a speeder, like, and he gets them all right. So the first picture is a loaf cap, and like I think Osha's like, it's a speeder, and Master Soul's like, correct. And then the next one's like a space station, and she's like, a mountain.
He's like,
correct. And she's like, no, it wasn't. And then she like realized, oh bugger.
Oh dear.
And then he gives her this like really nice speech, basically being like, look, I was 4 when I was taken to become a Jedi. You know, I didn't realize that there were thousands of us Force-sensitive kids out there. You know. You know, but you have to have the courage to sort of tell the truth, and you know, it's almost like
he can tell that she's lying just because of what her sister and her mum said.
Yeah. So then, obviously, but we can also see as well there is this sort of bond between Soul and Osha, like straight away. There's a
Yeah.
bit of a connection, and she comes off the ship and sort of she's just like looking down at the floor, and May's just like looking at her, and she just knows she like told the truth and passed the test. So then there's like this heated thing, and they're like, oh, she passed, like, oh. So then there's another bit of a confrontation. They're like, go to your room, or, you know. So they go to the rooms, and Osha's like packing up her stuff to go to the Jedi.
Her bag.
Yeah,
she's ready to go, and then
May walks in, and she's
everything.
like, I'm not letting you go. And May's like, oh, Osha's like, no, you're not gonna stop me. I'm going.
Oh, she like steals her book, doesn't she?
Yeah. Because then May's like, I will kill you, and then Osha's like, what? And then she grabs the book, and then like runs out the door, locks the door behind her, and then like May looks at the book, and it's like,
it's got like the Jedi symbol.
Yeah, it's the Jedi symbol.
Like
it's
a little lightsaber.
So Osha drew the Jedi symbol and a lightsaber like in that little pad, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then we see like May like looking at it, and then she's like light has got this little fire thing, and she lights it, and then next sort of shot is Osha looking at the door, and the whole door and everything is on fire. So it's all meant to be that like May has set this fire and burnt it. So Osha goes over to this sort of weird looking hole in a wall, basically like hacks it, slices it, shall we say, slices it, whatever. Crawls through and gets out, and she sees the like core of the like place, whatever, basically start blowing up, and it's like she can hear like screams from above through like a grate sort of thing. It's like, what on earth is going on? And then she comes sort of face to face with May over this broken platform, and Osha's like, what did you do? And May's like, what did you do? And Osha's like, what did you do? And then the like platforms sort of give way, and May like falls. We don't know what happened, but then we see Master Soul
grab Osha's
He's
hand.
like, Osha, and he grabs her and pulls her up, and then they're making their way through the like coven, and there's this bit here where like
you see all the dead witches,
but we don't know what's happened to them. Like, how are they like this? Now, there is so much to this story that we're like you said, we're not seeing all of it. But like I said, I don't want another full episode seeing it from May or the Coven point of view. Like,
no, I think it will
flashback, little sequences. That's all we need.
And then she sort of runs past Anastasia, and she's like, "Mother!" And then Soul sort of grabs her, and he's like, "No, don't look back. Don't look back. Let's go."
She's like, "No, Mama."
Because obviously she wants to know like what happened to her mum. Like, is she okay? Is she still alive? Is any of them still alive? I don't know.
Yeah. But then the next sort of scene that we see
her waking up on the ship.
Yes, and she's got like one of these breathers, and then she's like, May, and then we see Soul being like, May burned the door, like May destroyed
May's
everything.
Gone, and she's just like, we've got to go back. And he's like, no, it's all gone.
There's nothing left.
No,
calm down.
We're not going back.
And he's like, she's like, where are we going? He's like, we're going to Coruscant. He's like, do you want, like, you're going to be my Padawan, sort of thing. And she's like, she starts crying, and then we get this really nice bit where we see like the compassion of like Soul, like she's hugging him, and he's like at first like not wanting to, you know, have a connection with her, but then you can see that he gives her like a proper hug, and it's nice. And it's like there's something going on, because also in the background of this we see in Darren, we see Torvin. And
he's got
he had,
scar.
even though he is like blurred because he's not in the foreground, you can see he has got like his scars on his over his eye that we see in episode 2.
Yeah.
Like
So
before
something happened to him.
And we have seen in like trailer clips and all that like there is going to be like a fight and all
between
that
him and Kalnaka.
And also as well, there was a bit in the Jedi and the Coven where his eyes went black and he became possessed.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you want your Padawan to return to his right state of mind, you will leave now or something, you know, like. Oh, it's really interesting. And then like the final bit is, is I not got it? I didn't have it.
It's the next one. There you go.
Sorry, my bad. We see the Boonta tree.
Yes.
And we see that May's
gone back there.
Yeah.
To look
she's like
for Osha.
And she's like looking at it, and there's no life flying around the tree, and she's just like looking at it. And then that's it.
Yeah.
So hopefully next episode we're back to the present day.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing there's a character that they've released as a Funko, like, or that they've announced as a Funko. Basil. We've seen him on the trailer as well. I want to see Basil.
Yes.
I also want to see more of Kalnaka because he's a Wookiee and I think he's wicked.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much it for
I think there's lots of fun stuff to come. And I think people are judging it too early.
Yeah. It's not as bad as everyone thinks. And yes, this wasn't the best episode, especially out of these 3. Or
it was a bit slower.
And
there wasn't as much sort of going on that we could see.
But I think, like you said, it's probably needed for the story.
Yeah, for things to make more sense.
Yep. So
because it's like at the end here, we see May be like, "Oh, is Osha dead? I don't know."
Yeah.
Because she don't know what happened to Osha, so it makes the beginning episodes make more sense because it's like May was really shocked when she found out that Osha was still alive.
May thought Osha was dead. Osha thought May was dead.
Yeah.
You know, so
all these things are making sense now because of this episode.
Yes, so. It's going to get even more intense. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we go on to Troopers of the Week.
Yes.
I'll let you go second because yours is Acolyte related.
Yes.
So mine is by Born to Bricks EV on TikTok. They have basically created these clone trooper mosaics of the clone commanders and that. So here we have Rex, and then he's done a Cody as well. And by the way, all of these helmets and pictures are all done with Lego bricks and that. Look at that,
so good. The shadows and everything.
Yeah, and like I said, it is all just bricks and mosaics, and it just looks incredible. And yeah, how you do that with stuff like that, I'll never know. So yeah, that is Born to Bricks EV. So yeah, that's my trip.
Cool. So my trip of the week is someone that is cosplaying as May from the Acolyte. Now, very cool cosplay. I'll show you guys.
Considering the Acolyte has just come out.
Yeah, she's made this cosplay so quick. I believe she went to one of the premieres as well. I think it's from Brazil. But yeah, she's called Patty. Patty Mayonnaise on TikTok. But yeah, I believe this is at one of the premieres of the Acolyte.
So good.
But such a cool cosplay, it's spot on. I don't know how she's managed to make this costume so quickly, but this is the only May cosplay that I've seen so far. I'm sure there'll be many more to come, but yeah,
fair play.
Very, very cool cosplay from her. So that is my trip of the week.
Very cool. Well done, Patty.
Patty.
So yeah, we're gonna finish with meme of the week. Little bit of an emo one to you guys today. He was a Padawan, she was a sadder one.
So it's Avril Lavigne.
Looking a bit sad on the boo.
She was a Padawan, she was a sadder one.
Yeah, I just thought it was quite funny. I thought it was cleverly edited as well.
Yeah.
Like, it really does look like they're sat there together, just like chilling.
Yep.
So, yeah, he was a Padawan, she was the sadder one. So,
Padme's on an off day. That.
Oh dear. But yeah, that was it for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed.
Yes.
We will be back next week. It might be a different day, different time. We'll let you guys know. But yeah, keep watching the Acolyte and keep rooting for it. Don't give up on it, and don't be, don't think that this has destroyed Star Wars, because it hasn't. No. But yeah. So from me, may the Force be with you, and I will see you next week.
May the Force be with you.